Okay, this year is dedicated later Nishmas, Osher Shmuel Chaim and Ephraim B'Tziona, Esther Basara, Rivka Bas Yitzchak Isaac, later Nishmas Tzvi Dov ben Chaim Pesach, later Nishmas Avram ben Mordechai, David, Ruvain ben Shmuel, Chana Golda Bas Yisrael, Chaim ben Fegel, later Nishmas Yeshua ben Shmuel, later Nishmas Osher ben Bracha, later Nishmat Baruch Yosef ben Chaika. Later Nishmatam. Yes? Abraham Yosef. Ben Yaakov HaKohen. Later Nishmatam and Lahavdil ben Chaim. The birthday of Shalom's birthday. At Me'av Esrim. Lahavdil ben Chaim L'Chaim. Yishaya Shalom ben Malka Gittel and later Nishmas Elimelech. Ben Levi Yitzchak. Later Shmatam. Pesel Bas Rivka, Leila Nishmatam. Amen. Today's shir is called The Long and Winding Road. Remember that song? The Long and Winding Road. You see why, okay? First, there's a double header. Yesterday we read Matos Maseh. We read Matos Maseh, double header. And Moshe spoke, Rosh HaMatot. He spoke to the chiefs of the tribes, and he told them the laws of what? Keeping your word. Lo yachol devora kol yotze piv yaseh. Whatever comes out of your mouth, you must keep. Don't desecrate your words. So Rashi and all the Mefarshim ask you, why is he speaking to Rosh HaMatot? Every Jew has to keep their word. Not just the leader. Not just the leader. So why Rosh HaMatot? Whatever comes out of your mouth, you must keep. A promise is a promise. Don't break your word. Don't desecrate the word. Why is he speaking at Rosh HaMatos? Every person has to keep their word. So that's the famous question. So one answer is, Alfie, that read my lips. Remember President Bush? Yeah. Read my lips. Leaders have a tendency to fudge promises. So Moshe speaking, every Jew has to keep their word. Every human being has to keep the word, but especially leaders who have a tendency to run off at the mouth and don't keep their words. They promises that what you see from here, you don't see from there. Who said that? What you see from here, you don't see from there. So even Roshei Matot, even the leaders, the politicians, should also what? Keep their word, even though it's difficult, you know. So what do we do about it? Don't read my lips. Okay, now the parsha Matos Maseh. Interesting that the Torah goes on and you say, why do I say it's the long and winding road? The end of Parshas Matos is very strange. The end of Parshas Matot tells us that Yoyer, the son of Menashe, the very end, Bamidbar Lamed Bet, towards the end, the first parsha we read yesterday, Yoyer ben Menashe went and he conquered a city, and he called the city Chavot Yair, the village of Yair. Alfie, that's very important. I need to know for the year 2015. That 3,300 years ago, Yair ben Menashe went and conquered a city, and he called the city Chavot Yair, the city of Yair. What do I need to know that for? The Torah is not ancient history. The Torah, Alfie, is God's GPS. What does GPS mean? God's personal system for today. So what is the Torah telling me? And Rashi's bothered by that at the end of Matot. Rashi's bothered. Rashi says, because this guy, Yair ben Menashe, lo hoya loy bonim, he had no children. So therefore, he called the city after what? Himself. We all have a strong desire to be remembered. Right? Every human being, that's why the pharaohs built the what? The pyramids, and the Aztecs built, what did the Aztecs build? You would also pyramids, right? People have a desire to be remembered after they're gone. So this guy, Yair ben Menashe, had no kids. So Rashi says, therefore what? He built the city to perpetuate his legacy. Anybody know who Yair ben Menashe is? Yair ben Menashe. He called the city Chavot Yair. Ask anybody in any yeshiva who the Chavot Yair is. They'll tell you it's Rabbi Yair from the 1600s who wrote a Shalos and Tshuva Sefer called Chavot Yair. It's ironic, Alfie, that the original Chavot Yair, the conqueror, nobody knows who he is. No. Yair ben Menashe. But anyway, one second. In the 1600s, there lived a great rabbi, Rav Yair Bachrach. He wrote a Shalos and Tshuva Sefer, and he called that Chavot Yair. So everybody knows him. But this first Yair ben Menashe, who knows of him? What's the message, Abraham? Chavot Yair. That's the name of this Tshuva Sefer, named after Bamidbar Lamed Bet. In the end, Yair ben Menashe went and conquered a city called the Chavot Yair. But the point that the Torah is making, Sonia, is if you want to perpetuate your memory, your legacy, it's not a conqueror. Nobody knows this guy. Nobody knows who he is. But this great rabbi, he wrote a Sefer Chavot Yair, everybody knows him. So the Torah is pointing out, you want a legacy, you want to be remembered, it's not through your what? Children. Conquering, whatever. Your legacy is perpetuated by what? By mitzvot, the masim Torah, and by Torah. By Torah. And the next pasuk is even stranger. This is Bamidbar Lamed Bet, Pashas Matos at the end. Then afterward it says, the Novach Halach, this guy called Novach, John Doe went, Vayilkod at Kenat, and he conquered the city of Kenat, Vayikralo Novach B'Shmo, and he called the city after himself Novach. I need to know this for the year 2015, Terza. Who was this guy, Novach? He went and conquered a city, and he called the city Novach B'Shmo. He called the city after his name. Very strange. Again, why is that important? The Torah is not a history book. Rashi is even stranger. Vayikra La Novach B'Shmo. He called her. Who's her? The city after his name Novach. Rashi says, La Eino Mapik Hey. You know Hebrew? You'll think, what does a Mapik Hey mean?
To her.
Law is a strong hay. Mapik Hey here, the law is pronounced weak. Rashi says, Vayikra La Novach B'Shmo. He called, this Mr. Novach called the city after his name. Lamed Hey, law her. Says Rashi, law Eino Mapik Hey. The law in her is not a Mapik Hey. It's not a strong law. It's Rafa. What does Rafa mean? Soft. Weak, very soft hay. Very important. Rashi, what's eating you, Reb Aaron? Who was this guy, Novach? And he conquered a city, and he called it after his name, Novach. And Rashi has to point out that the law is Eino Mapik Hey. It's a weak hay. Why is that important? The pintala is missing in the hay. You know, you pronounce it law, Mapik Hey, strong, or if there's no pintala there, then it's a weak hay. The pintala yid is missing, again, Shirley. This guy, Novach, was a conqueror. He thinks that he will be remembered by conquering cities. He called the city after his name, but who knows the city? Who knows him? It's a weak hay. That's not the way to perpetuate your legacy by being a conqueror. The pintala yid is missing. Yiddish Yehuda. The pintala yid, it's not a mapik hay. If the pintala yid is missing, if there's no Torah values and Torah ideology, all you are is a conqueror, then who cares? You're not remembered. Who are you? Who is the city? It's very shvach. Rashi so profound. Vayikra La Novach B'Shmo with a weak hay, because this guy Novach, the Torah is pointing out the irony that great conquerors who build what? Great cities and conquer great cities, Who knows them today? Who is remembered? A person that has what? Mitzvot and Masim Tovim. That person is what? Is remembered. So that's the Torah's GPS, the Torah's GPS for life, that a person wants to establish a legacy, right? It's not by being a conqueror or by being a millionaire. It's by living and setting the example of what? Of Torah values. There's a pasuk in Devarim 29. Hanistorosh Lashem Elokeinu. V'aniglois lanu v'neinu. The hidden things belong to God, and the revealed things belong to us, to our children forever. Devarim 29. What does that mean? The hidden things belong to God, and the revealed things belong to us and our children. What does that mean?
The revealed things are in this world, and they're not netzach mitzachim.
Well, the Sprecher Rebbe explained, Hanistorish Lashem Elokeinu. A person does a lot of chesed, he does a lot of mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim. Hanistar, that he shouldn't brag, he shouldn't boast. Hey, I'm a great guy, I know Shas backwards and forwards, I give so much tzedukah. Nistar, it's enough that what? That God knows. Don't blow your own horn. That's for other people. But for other people, let your good deeds and your Torah be nistar. When it comes to other people, not to brag and boast. But but as far as our children are concerned, Yehuda, that's nigla, ad olam. The children should know what kind of good person you are. You want to establish a legacy for your children to emulate. So for other people, let it be nistar. Don't blow your own horn. But aniglosh lolu v'neinu, says the Sprecher Rebbe. As far as our children, ad olam. What does ad olam mean? To establish a forever legacy, nigla. Them you should tell. They should know that I'm a Talmud Chacham, I give tzedakah. There you're not blowing your own horn. There you are establishing legacy that they should perpetuate your good deeds. But if they don't know, if you cover up that you're a great person, a great Torah scholar, if you cover up from them, the children don't know, then how do they know to emulate you? How can you be a role model? So you split the pasuk, and therefore their dots, lonul v'neinu, on top of Devarim 29, nigla lonul v'neinu. When it comes for our children, the dots are there. Our children, you should reveal all of your mitzvot and ma'asim tovim, because ad olam, you have to establish what?
Torah, you have to
ad olam. This is an eternal legacy.
Don't you have to perpetuate as well?
That's right. So when it comes to other people, keep it under wraps. Comes to your family, they should know of your good deeds in order to emulate them, to imitate them, and to carry on. Yes, Terza.
Your previous point about Yair and Nabo,
Right.
that they're not remembered because all they did
Was conquer.
I want to make a point.
Yeah.
All they did was conquer. They didn't really accomplish through their Masim Tov.
That's right.
Nobody remembers them.
That's right.
It's further emphasized by, I think it's the next pasuk in Masei, right?
Right.
When they talk, they mention again the notes Slavkai
Right.
and
Very good, Tirza. The B'nai Slavchad, they espouse Torah values, so they are remembered forever. Tirza, you're one of them.
I know.
You're one of the B'nai Slavchad.
My mother.
Oh.
Let me just tell you something.
They were granddaughters. No, they were granddaughters of Chefer.
Not the other.
They were same family, but from a different line. But anyway, I want to move on. The Torah goes on. Eile Masa B'nai Yisrael. The second parsha we read. These are the journeys of the B'nai Yisrael. The long and winding road. What do we need to know, Alfie? They went here and they went there. The Torah is not a history book. Vayisu, Vayachnu, They traveled and they camped. They traveled and they camped. There's 42 stops written over here. Why should I care of the Jewish people 3,300 years ago? They camped here and they traveled there and they went here and they went there. Why is it written down?
Because if you don't know where you're coming from, you have no compass.
You don't know where you're coming from. You don't know where you're going. Right?
It's not symbolic of
What's it all about? Vayisu vayachnu. They traveled from A and they camped B. Why is it not enough to say they camped in B? Why do you have to say they traveled from A and they camped B? They traveled from A and they camped B. 42 times. It's repeated by Yisu Vayachno. So Tirza said very good. If you don't know where you left, you don't know where you're going to wind up. But of course, it's much more than that. All of these 42 stops, Shirley, remember, if they wouldn't have sinned with the Egel and the Meraglim, Pisgat Zev, here I come. These 42 stops were necessary because the Jews sinned again and again. This is plan B. Plan A, there was supposed to be only one stop. One stop from Cairo, here we come. But because we sinned again and again, we wound up in the Midbar, coming and going. So what's the message? That plan B is also worthwhile, even though plan A didn't work out. But plan B, the 42 stops that the Jews made in the Midbar, they grew from it. They progressed spiritual growth, even though it wasn't plan A in one stop. But plan A seldom works out. The message is that plan B is also good. Every step is needed, right? There's a pasuk in Mishlei, Sheva Yipol Tzadik. The Tzadik will fall 7 times or 42 times, v'kam. But each time he what? He gets up. So these 42 stops, they traveled, they fell, they rose. Yerida l'tzorech aliyah. Sometimes you have to go backwards in order to what? To go forwards. This is the message. The process, the means justifies the end. The process itself is important. That even the Yerida can be utilized, Yehuda l'tzorech aliyah. So therefore what? The Torah has to list all of these stops, the roller coasters, that's life, riding high in April, shot down in May, ups and downs through life, the long and winding road, we traveled from here, we camped there. It's important because all of us are on that roadmap. We are all part of their neshamas. We're all Gilgulim of those Jews who left Egypt, and we all have to follow our own roadmap, not the road trap. And all the pitfalls and all the detours somehow is also part of what? The plan. The plan. And therefore it's recorded. Every step is all recorded over here to achieve the goal, the effort. There are no shortcuts to Kedusha. Plan A didn't work out. Plan B is also what? Is also good. Now the names of these places are unbelievable. It says, Vayishu Mimara, they traveled from a place called Bitter, and they came to a place where there were 12 what? Streams and 70 date palm trees. And then it says, Vayishu Mimidbar Sinai, they traveled from Har Sinai, Vayachnu Bekivrot Hatava, and they wound up in the graves of the lusters. What does that mean? Vayishu Mimidbar Sinai. What is the message for the year 2015? If you travel away from the Har Sinai experience, what is Har Sinai? Torah values. You wind up lo yaleinu bekivrot hatava. You wind up in the graveyard of the lusters. If you disengage from Torah values, from the Midbar Sinai experience, then you're left with drugs, sex, booze, and the person winds up in kivrot hatava. But if you're there, do you have to remain there? Vayishu mikivrot hatava. They traveled from the graves of the lusters. Vayachnu b'chatzerot. And they camped in a place called Chatzer. Why is that important for the year 2015? Every person makes mistakes. So a person winds up in the graveyard of the lusters. It's all over. There's no hope for me. Vayachnu b'chatzerot. How do you disengage? If you visualize that this world is only a chotzer. B'chatzerot. What's a chotzer mean? A courtyard. Temporary. This world is not a mansion. People think they're mansion, they take it with them. You can't take it with you. Jack Benny said, if I can't take it with me, I'm not going. But he went anyway. So how do you disengage from kivrot hatava? If you focus on chatzerot, surely, that this world is a chatzer. People don't spend too much time in a yard, right? It's cold, it's hot, there's bees, there's snow, there's rain. This world is a chotzer, it's temporary. Well, if you focus on life is so short and temporary, we're not here that long, that's a way to disengage from what? Kivrot hatava, and focus on what? On my spirituality. But what's amazing is, Rabbi Aaron, that I hope you're listening yesterday, I know you were, the Baal Korah was singing this. Vayisu midbar Sinai, vayachnu b'kivrot hatava, vayisu b'kivrot hatava, vayachnu b'chatzerot. There's a marching song. The Baal Korah sang all of these 42 stops. The Jews rebelled and they sinned and they went backwards before they what? Went forwards. So why is the Baal Korah singing? Bizarre. Baal Korah was singing a marching song. Kivrot hatava, the graves of the lusters. In Mara, the people were bitter, depressed. What are you singing about? Vayisu midbar Sinai, vayachnu b'hatava, vayisu kivrot hatava, vayachnu b'chatzerot. All of these places there was rebellion and sin. Why is the Baal Korah singing a marching song? That's a good question. That's a good question. This is the travel itinerary, the catalog of our sins. What the heck are you singing about, Mr. Baal Korah? And if he wasn't singing, they'd fire him. What? What? Now, one of the places called Evel HaShittim, where we sinned with the wild Moabite women. Ovel HaShittim. What does Ovel mean? Of a morning, in the place of Shittim, we sinned with the Moabite women. Why is he singing a marching tune? Isn't that bizarre? Isn't it bizarre? So to answer this question, we're going to pose what? Another question. You know, Rosh Chodesh Av is called Av. Why is the month called Av? It's Rosh Tevot. FBI, CIA. Av stands for Elul Ba. Ready or not? Elul Ba, Aleph Bet, Av. Before you know it, Elul is here. So Elul, we get ready for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, we do something very strange. On Yom Kippur, we sing, O Shamnu, Bogadnu, ay, 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 I'm a low life. I'm a no good bum. Ay, 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 O Shamnu, I'm a traitor. I'm a ganif. I speak Lashon Hara, die, 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 I'm a corrupter. What are you singing about? Hang your head in shame. Why are you singing? Very strange, says the Chassam Sofer. Because through tshuva, I did all these terrible sins, but I did tshuva. So you do tshuva me'ahava, that's something to sing about. Every person sins. What do you do after the sin? Do you remain depressed in the mud, or do you pick yourself up? As Mishlei says, Sheva Yipol Tzadik v'kam. So therefore we sing, yes, we made many mistakes. The pasuk in Koheles, Adam ein tzadik ba'aretz asher yasa tov v'lo yechta. Right, Ray? Everybody makes mistakes, even Moses. There's no person alive that doesn't do sin. What do you do after the sin? Are you depressed and throw in the towel? Or do you say, no, I'll do better? So therefore, since the Jews did tshuva and we do tshuva on Yom Kippur, yes, we're singing about our sins. Because if you do tshuva ma'ahava, the sin becomes what, Tirza? A mitzvah, mind-boggling. And therefore what? We sing the travel itinerary, the catalog of our sins in the Midbar, Kivrot HaTava, Mara, Ovel Hashitim. We did terrible things, but we grew from the mistakes. We did tshuva. That's something to sing about. Slicha, Freudian slip. That's something to sing about. And therefore, on Yom Kippur, you're singing Oshamnu, Bogadnu, right? I Gozalnu, I speak Lashon Hara, I betrayed God, I'm a no good bum, a slanderer, a thief. What are you singing about? Yes, I did that, but I'm doing tshuva. So therefore, I'm turning the Aveda into a mitzvah. And that's something to sing about. Judaism is such an optimistic religion. Other religions are so what? Pessimistic. Judaism, the optimistic religion. God expects us to sin. How do I know? He gave us a Yetzer Hara. But he expects us to what? Do tshuva. What do you do after the sin? See, the tzaddik and the rasha both sin, surely. Right? Adam ein tzaddik baretz asher yasa tov v'lo yechto, Kehela 7. But after the sin, the rasha stays in the mud. He becomes depressed and used to it. The tzaddik pulls himself up and he tries to better himself. Yes?
You say Lashon Hara about someone.
Right.
You demean them, you defend them, you make them a spot.
Right.
You go and you do tshuva.
Well, how's tshuva?
That person has to live with what you said about.
Very good, Shirley. So the Mishnah says in Yuma that Yom Kippur only helps for tshuva bein Adam lamakom. Tshuva between man and God. But if you sin against a fellow human being, the Mishnah in Yuma says Yom Kippur will not atone unless you apologize and do right by the guy you wronged. So you have to say, I'm sorry that I slandered you, I took away your good name, let me make it up to you. Otherwise the tshuva is worthless. You're right. Alpha, Yom Kippur works for tshuva between man and God. The Mishnah in Yuma, you sin against a fellow human being, tshuva ain't going to help unless you do right by him. Whether monetary compensation or apology or whatever it takes until you what? Appease him. That's correct. But you can do tshuva. And this person, if you do tshuva and you make right by him, and you do right by him, he's supposed to forgive you. He's supposed to forgive you, yes?
You said the traveling had a sing-song.
Sing-song.
My question is...
Yesterday's Baal Koire read it.
I wasn't sure.
Okay.
The question is...
This is not public confession.
Go ahead.
Is that a separate shrub,
It's a sing-song. Vayisu vayachnu vayisu midbashina vayachnu b'kivrot hatava la 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 la. He's singing all of these places we screwed up. Pardon my expression. We messed up, and yet the Bakor is singing because we messed up, but we did tshuva. How do we know that we tshuva, Rabbi Yaakov? Because we moved on. Vayisu vayachnu. They didn't move on until they fixed what they messed up. So in order to progress, you have to what? Learn from your mistakes. So I have to know my mistakes. If I don't know, how can I learn from them? When I learn what the mistakes are, I could do better and move on. So that's part of the process. That's part of the process. To achieve the goal, I have to know how I messed up and where I'm coming from in order to what? To do tshuva and know where I'm going. In Judaism, we say the means justifies the end. Yehuda. The means, that true? The means justifies the end. The process itself, the yerida l'tzorech aliyah. It's not a license to sin, but everybody sins. Instead of being depressed about it and not be able to move on with your life, you do something about it. You do tshuva. You can fix it. As long as you're alive, you could still fix it. That's why life is so precious. Every moment of life is so precious. You can repair the damage if you really want to, between you and God and between you and your fellow human being, if you really want to. Pretty interesting. Mara. No pain, no gain. Who said that?
Jane Fonda.
No.
Jane Fonda?
It's a Mishnah Masechta Avot. No pain, no gain. Lefum tzara agra. According to the pain is the gain. No pain, no gain. Right? Ben Heye said that. No pain, no gain. The Tana's name is Ben Heye. Isn't that a strange name for a Tana? Ben Heye? Not Ben Cartwright. Ben Heye. So the Rambam explains why was he called Ben Heye. He was a Roman senator who converted to Judaism and became a Talmud of Hillel and became a Tana. But he had to take on an alias because the KGB and the Roman CIA were looking for him to knock him off. He went incognito underground and he took a code name Ben Heye, the son of the two Hays. Who are the first two converts in Judaism? Avraham and Sarah. Avram became Avraham, he got the Hay. Sarai became what? Sarah the Hay. So he's Ben Heye, the son of the two Hays, the son of Avraham and Sarah, the first two converts. So he became a convert to Judaism. Can you imagine a Roman senator? Became a convert to Judaism, became a holy sage, and he had to go Alfie underground, incognito, so the Roman FBI shouldn't what? Finger him. So he took this alias, the son of the two Hays, and that's how he lived underground and became a Tana. And he's recorded in the Mishnah, and he says, according to the pain is the gain.
He should know.
He should know. Beautiful. According to the pain. The long and winding road to be from a Roman pagan to a holy sage of Israel. No pain, no gain. And that's what he says. Lefum tzara agra. What made him convert? Well, the Romans had many debates with the rabbis. You know that? Yeah. Many debates. Rabbi Akiva had a debate with Turnus Rufus. Not Doofus, Turnus Rufus. Turnus Rufus. You know Turnus Rufus? He's the one that had him executed. Rabbi Akiva was one of the 10 martyrs. But first they had a debate. He asked Rabbi Akiva, Turnus Rufus, Alfie, he was the governor of Judea at the time. Whose work is greater? Man's work or God's work? So this is what Turnus Rufus asked Rabbi Akiva. So Rabbi Akiva told him, man's work is greater. So Turnus Rufus said, say what? Man's work is greater? You're a great rabbi. How could you say that your work is greater than God? He said, I'll prove it to you. You ever try eating raw wheat? Feh. But eating an Angel's Danish or an Entenmann's cheesecake, ooh. What's tastier? Who makes raw wheat? God. Who makes a cheese Danish? Man. Entenmann's or Angel's cheese Danishes. So you see what, Sonia? What do you see? Man's work is greater. You hear what he said? Lillian's pretty amazing. Now listen to me, Lily. If God could make an orange and an apple grow on a tree, he could make a cheese Danish grow on a tree. An orange, sometimes you don't even have to pick it. The orange is so juicy and ripe, it falls right into your hand. Ready to eat. Wrapped, beautiful gift wrapped in a nice orange package with a delicious smell. If God can do that, he can make a cheese Danish grow on a tree. So what's the point? Well, Rabbi Akiva's point is that God loved man so much that he purposely left the Bria undone to give us a chance to do Tikkun Olam. To do Tikkun to Chesed for another. Tikkun Olam. To be his partner in perfecting the world. So you see that in raw wheat, right? That God left the Bria undone in order to give us the unique chance and opportunity and the awesome privilege of what? Of being his partner in Tikkun Olam. That's how much God loves man. That's Rabbi Akiva's point. To demonstrate how much he loves us, he purposely left raw wheat and he didn't what? Make a cheese Danish.
So why did Rufus?
Huh?
So why did Rufus kill him for that?
Turnus Rufus killed him. Why did he kill the other 9 great
He
rabbis?
was expecting.
The 10 martyrs, we read about it on Tisha B'Av. The 10 martyrs were tortured to death. We read about it on Tisha B'Av, and we also read about it when, Lily, on Yom Kippur. The 10 martyrs were tortured to death, who the Zohar says was a Gilgal of the 10 brothers. Those 10 martyrs that were murdered by Turnus Rufus were the 10 brothers who sold Yosef. You know that? You look in Pashas Miketz Yehuda, 10 times they're called Ha'anoshim. They should be called Achei Yosef. They should be called the Bnei Yaakov. They're not called Achei Yosef. They're not called the Bnei Yaakov, which they should be called. They're called Ha'anoshim. With a Hey Yidiyah. The men. And that word is written 10 times. Coinky dinky, says the Zohar, because those 10 brothers became the 10 Ho'anoshim, the 10 great men of Israel, the 10 martyrs who were murdered. Because if you kidnap and sell a person into slavery, you're supposed to be executed. The 10 brothers were never punished, and Yosef never forgave them. Rabbeinu Bachai points out. He never forgave them. You look in the text, he said, I'm on the place of God. Don't bother me. God will settle up with you. Look what he says to them. He never said, Salachti, Nechama. And therefore, the debt remained unpaid. And centuries later, says the Zohar, the word, that's why it's written, Pashas Miketz, not Achei Yosef, not Bnei Yaakov, Ho'anoshim. 10 times, Shirley, those brothers became the 10 great men of Israel. They got reincarnated, and they suffered a gruesome death because they are the same during the Second Temple period, during the Churban Bayit Sheni, the Asore Rugai Malchus. So why did they suffer such a terrible death? Because they were Gilgulim, reincarnation of the 10 sons of Yaakov who sold a brother into slavery, which is a capital punishment, and they were never punished. You can pay me now, or you can pay me later. God has a long memory, right? And this reincarnation, when you see righteous people suffer and you don't know why, says Nachmanides, the secret is reincarnation. Righteous people who suffer, they suffer. It's hard for us to fathom that. But the answer, says the Zohar, the Ramban, the Vilna Gaon, the Ari, all the great Kabbalists, the answer why the righteous suffer, the answer is reincarnation. Yes? We don't understand that.
Proof is that they never apologized.
But he never said Salachti.
Why should he
Say Salachti. He never said.
He's the one that suffered.
Right.
So they're the ones that should have apologized. They never apologized.
They never apologized. What? And he never said Salachti. So the debt remained unpaid for centuries. So they got recycled. What business is God in? The recycling business. Or the soul repair business, Yehuda. I'm a soul man. Right? God is not a shoemaker, but he's in the soul repair business. So every person, you can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. Right? We don't know. We're here for such a short time. We were here before. Right? What's 80, 90, 100 years compared to eternity? We were somewhere before, and after 100 years we go, you know, it's like a recycling Gilgal, right? So we're all here to do our tikkunim. All of us are going to make it. There's a strange pasuk in Isaiah chapter 60. Reb Tuvia. Isaiah chapter, Shalom Aleichem. Isaiah chapter 60. Va'amech kulam tzadikim. God, what's God's John Hancock? Emet. God's seal is Emet. How could he tell Isaiah chapter 60, Va'amech kulam tzadikim? Isaiah, your people, all of them are what? Tzadikim. I don't know about you, but I'm no tzaddik. How could God say we're all tzaddikim?
And what about?
How could it, what?
Eventually.
Beautiful, Tirza. The most lavchad.
What'd she say?
She said, eventually, after all of the Gilgulim, va'amech kulam tzaddikim, we're all going to be tzaddikim. Because God can't afford to give up on any Jewish soul. Can a parent give up on a child? No matter how rotten, we're all God's children. The pasuk in Devarim, Bonim atem Hashem Elokeichem. You are children to Hashem. A parent, you can divorce a spouse, but you can't divorce a child. And God says, Bonim, in Deuteronomy 14, Bonim atem Hashem Elokeichem. You are children to Hashem. He can't afford to give up on us. So he will what? Recycle us as many times as it takes until va'amech kulam tzaddikim. We're all going to be tzaddikim even without a shtreimel, even with a colored shirt and no black hat. We're all going to be tzaddikim. Isaiah chapter 60, and he was very Haredi, Isaiah. We're all going to make it. But what do you need? The anguish, the agony of being born and suffering and dying and being reborn again. It's terrible anguish for the soul to go through birth and death and rebirth and all that. Who needs it? Do it right, and this time you won't have to be what? Recycled. But God says, you can pay me now or you can pay me later, but in the end we're all going to make it, yes?
Didn't you say this was the last?
The Baal Shem Tov said, Sonia, thank you, that this is the last cycle. Everyone born after his time, the Baal Shem Tov said, we're here for the last time. Baruch Hashem. He got a telegram, Shirley. The Baal Shem Tov got an SMS, the Baal Shem Tov, that said from his time and on, all people that are born are here for the last time. So it looks like we're getting close to the climax. Huh? Baal Shem Tov died in 1760. He said every soul born after 17, as he's dying, he says all people that are born at that time and until Mashiach comes are here for the last spin of the wheel. Gilgul means the spin of the wheel. He had Ruach HaKodesh, and he said we're all here for the last time. We've been here many times. Alfie, deja vu. Deja vu. All the people, Tuvi, you meet, we had some interaction before, whether you know it or not. Any person that you meet in this world, that means we all met before, and we have unfinished business. We're helping each other do the tikkun, whether we know it or not. And sometimes, Tuvia, tikkun is only a shmeichel. Some people, just they can't smile, they're like constipated. A smile. It doesn't cost any money to smile. You smile on a fellow human being. That could be your tikkun. And that could be his tikkun. Smile. Or everybody born after 1760 said, that's the last time.
And the Rabbanim who say that we are the neshamas of those who perished in the Holocaust. And that doesn't make sense because if
but we're all mitzots. The neshama spins off.
Hashem, why would they need to be another tikkun? That doesn't make sense.
There are no new souls. We're all here many times, but the Baal Shem Tov said from his time on, people that are born, they were born for the last time.
They're resold.
They're resold. They're resold, right? They're resold for the last time.
Everybody born now is a new soul.
No.
Well, how do you understand? How does it work?
What?
Where did he get that from?
Maybe he had Ruach HaKodesh.
You sure it wasn't the
He had Ruach HaKodesh.
Was it the Lubavitcher Rebbe that said that?
I know, but he had Ruach HaKodesh. But it's amazing that the Haftorah, Yehuda, the Haftorah that we read yesterday, Yirmiyahu, is ripped from today's headlines. It's amazing that the Haftorah always speaks to current events. We make a mistake. We think that Yirmiyahu is ancient history. The Talmud and Megillah says there were millions of Nevi'im, Shirley, millions. How come only 48 Nevi'im are recorded? Because those millions spoke about their time. doesn't concern me. The 48 Nevi'im, and Yirmiyahu is one of them, he's speaking to me today. It's not ancient history. You read what he said yesterday. V'avi eschem el Eretz HaKarmel. I brought you to this wonderful land, Eretz HaKarmel, le'echol pirya v'tuva, to eat of the delicious fruit. You go to Machne Yehuda. You see a razzle-dazzle display of delicious fruits and veggies. Yirmiyahu says that. Give you delicious fruit and veggies, and you came, v'tetamu et artzi. You defiled my land. V'nachlati samtem l'toyeva. And you made my precious inheritance, says God, to a toyeva. What's a toyeva? The abomination. Toyeva means homosexuality. You look in Vayikra, Pashas Achrei Mos Kedoshim, the Torah calls homosexuality a toyeva. So how did Yirmiyahu know 2,600 years ago? I gave you such a wonderful land, delicious fruits, and you defiled my land. V'nachlati samtem l'toyeva. Yesterday's Haftorah, ripped from today's headlines. Gay parades, gay marriages. God says, why are you defiling my precious inheritance, Eretz Yisrael? But unfortunately, some people just don't get it. Yirmiyahu is crying. He's a voice in the wilderness. And even though he said this over 2,600 years ago, this is mamish today's headlines.
You said it last week. You said it
because what?
We thought it was a permanent baby.
Right.
As a result of that, we used it as a means by which to sin.
That's right. They think it's an insurance policy. And this coming Shabbos, we're going to read Chazon Yeshayahu. This coming Shabbos is called Shabbat Chazon. What does the word Chazon mean? A vision. Chazon Yeshayahu. Yeshayahu ben Amos, he lived 100 years before the Churban. Yirmiyahu was an eyewitness to the Churban. Yeshayahu lived 100 years before. And he's prophesizing the doom, the destruction of the Churban. And they didn't believe him. And 100 years later, Yirmiyahu is the eyewitness to what Yeshayahu had already prophesied. They called him a false prophet. It can't be, like we said last week. God will not make himself bankrupt. Will God put himself out of business? No. That's what they thought. So the Beis Hamikdash was perpetuating, is that the right word, Tuvia? Perpetuating, and was an excuse and a rationalization for the sinful behavior. So God had no choice but to what? To destroy it. So if we get our act together, sooner or later we're going to have to get our act together. Before the year 5845, right? That's when we run out of psukim. So God will have to intervene and save us from ourselves, Alfie. The jig is going to be up. When Iran gets the bomb, the jig is up. That God will have to take the mask off. No more peekaboo. It's all a game. Right? But the game is going to have to...
Was the Iranian deal a death warrant?
The Iranian deal, why did God allow it? To get the Jews to do tshuva. What's it all? It's all... Whatever happens in the world revolves around Israel. Right? What's a death warrant? It's to frighten... It's to frighten us to do tshuva, and he'll wind up like Haman on the same tree. The Persian madman from the same address, from Poras. He's called Ayatollah Khomeini, not Kakamemi. Ayatollah Khomeini, Haman. The same address, speaks the same language of genocide of 2,500 years ago. He'll wind up on the same tree. There's plenty of room, Alfie. There's plenty of room for him on that tree with a... They don't realize that this is God's plan to get the Yidden to do tshuva. Obama, took off his ring. He gave it to Kakamemi. Ayatollah Khomeini.
When did he do that?
What?
Obama gave...
Well, Aaron is saying, he authorized Khomeini to make the bomb now. He gave him a license.
But it has to go
I like your analogy. I like your analogy. Achashverosh is Obama.
No.
Achashverosh is Obama. Yes.
Exactly.
By giving permission. It's amazing. It's like deja vu all over
He
again.
wants the Jews destroyed.
Who said that?
He wants the Jews destroyed, but he doesn't want
Aaron,
to
it's
do
an
it
amazing analogy. Obama, Elias Achashverosh, gave permission to Ayatollah Kakamemi, right?
and to reduce the statute.
It's the whole Haman story all over again. And who's the Esther? Who's the Esther? Huh? Hillary Clinton? She's Vashti, Aslicha. We need a, what's it called? A playbill? A playbill. What's it called? A playbill, right? Vashti is Hillary. Right? Just amazing.
Nobody wants to see her declothed.
Deja vu all over again. Thank you very much. We should have a meaningful fast. Next Sunday we don't meet. God willing, we meet Sunday, August 2nd.